students. Now we are going to discuss about digital signature standard algorithm. See, in this, before moving to the algorithm, first we have to know its standard. So let us move with the outline where we are going to have a list of standard algorithm. In the algorithm, we are having two subparts, that is a key generation and signing and verifying the digest. Right? Now, DSS, see, coming to the digital signature standard, it has been introduced in early 90s itself. This was published by FIPS 186 in the year 1991. Even though it has been released, this was not yet released into the market because of its few revisions it has had. Then from 1991 to 2000, it has gone through a number of revisions. In 2000, it has been released with the SHA algorithm. Okay. This algorithm, the name of this algorithm is the digital signature algorithm. The hash function it has been utilized is the SHA hash function algorithm. Now, we are saying that DSA is only digital signature algorithm only because it cannot overcome the encryption and decryption procedure with the public and private key combination. See, as we know, RSA can do both encryption at encryption at sender with the public key and decryption at private key. So this is the basic algorithm nature the RSA has. Now, when we are discussing RSA with the digital signature scheme, we did encryption with the private key and decryption with the public key. So when we say decryption with the public key and encryption with the private key, this is a concept of digital signature. So RSA can perform in two ways, right? So basic digital signature by signing the algorithm and the basic encryption procedure as an asymmetric algorithm. Now DSA cannot perform the first step, that is the encryption with the public key. Thus, we are saying that we are declaring that DSA is only digital signature algorithm. Right? Now, the introduction of DSA algorithm is the number of bits it is going to generate as a signature is a 320 bits. Now, the number of bits as a message it can accept is from 512 to 1024 bit security. Now, whatever the data it has, we must go with the 64 bit of blocks of data every time. Okay. Now, this is the first point to be noted about this digital signature is it can create 320 bits of signature. It can accept 512 to 1024 message bit size of security. Then it has to go with 64 bits of blocks every time. It is faster and smaller than RSA. Then when we are saying that discrete algorithms enters into our computation, we utilize Elgamal and Schnorr schemes. Similarly, DSO also can perform this kind of discrete logarithms concept. Thus, finally, the digital signature scheme, which we are having with DSS, the standard, is very strong as a digital signature algorithm. Now, when we are moving with the in depth of this algorithm, we have two parts to be discussed. First one is a key generation. Second one is signing and verifying the digest. So when we are having key generation, we must have three global values. Those are P, Q, and G. So G is the value which we are going to calculate now by the values of P and Q. Now, what is P and Q? See, P is any large prime number. Q is a prime number which is having 160 bits, right? So now we have to take this 512 and 1024 bits for security purpose and convert this into 64 bits of data as we discussed just before in the last slide. Then Q is the prime divisor of P minus 1. So this is a prime factor. I mean the P is a prime number. Q is a prime factor of P minus 1. Okay, we have pi of n, right? So this pi of n is not, pi of P is nothing but the P prime number minus 1. So whatever the factors we have for this P minus 1, we call them as Q. So we have to take one of the factor of that, I mean the prime divisor of that in 160-bit format. Then after taking your P, Q values, we have to perform your G, calculate G. Now, what is H here in the formula is H to the power of P minus 1 by Q. Okay. So, P is a large prime number, Q is a prime divisor, and H is any value from 1 to P minus 1. You can choose any value from 1 to P minus 1. So, after taking this value, substitute in this formula so that we'll get G value. Now, once we get the G value, you have to choose one private key as X and the public key as G power X mod P. Okay. So this is a public key generated. This is a private key chosen. So the private key is chosen as X. That may be anything which is less than Q. Now, with the values which we have, that is G, we calculated from H, P, and Q. To the power of X is the private key mod prime number. So that we'll get the public key. Now we have X and Y values that are private and public keys. We are going to perform the operation, I mean the procedure of the algorithm. The procedure of the algorithm includes two main sub-algorithms that are signing algorithm and verifying algorithm. See, in the signing algorithm, we have to, the signing algorithm will be performed at the sender side. Verification algorithm is performed at the receiver side. As we are saying, signing algorithm is performed at the sender side. We must take the plain text first, whatever the data or message we call, apply that to the hash function so that we'll get some message digest of that message. So the algorithm which we are going to utilize to perform this hash function is the SHA algorithm, right? Now, after having this SHA algorithm, you will be getting the hash code, that is a message digest. Take that hash code and convert that into the signature by signing, encrypting with the private key. Encrypt hash using signer's private key, right? So that we'll get one signature. Now, attach the certificate as to the signature. So whole signature you are going to attach to the data and send to the receiver. Now at the receiver end, we need to perform verification algorithm. In the verification procedure, first detach your data and certificate, the signature separately. Now, take the data, provide that to the hash function SHA algorithm so that you will get one message digest here. The hash code or the hash value we call. Now, put this aside. Now, whatever the second part we have as a signature, take that signature, apply signer's public key, because here we have applied the signer's private key. We need spare, so that is signer's private key is needed to decrypt that. So whatever the data we get, that data is nothing but the hash value generated by the sender. Now, hash value generated by the receiver is here. Hash value generated by the sender is here. If both are same, then the signature is valid and the data is perfect. If both are not same, the communication channel has been hacked or something happened in between by the intruders. So we are going to reject that data and claim the case to the higher officials. So this is what the algorithm DSA is. The first procedure we need to know is the key generation. Then after generating the X and Y values, so X is utilized, X is the private key, utilizes the signing algorithm, and Y is the public key, which is going to utilize the verification algorithm. So that is what at sender side we have the resultant as the digital signature. And at the receiver side, we have the resultant as the signature generated by the sender and the signature generated by the receiver. Both needs to be compared. If both digests are same, then our signature is valid and our data is perfect. So this is what the algorithm DSA is. So the overview is nothing but we are going to take the data here. You're going to take the data here, convert that into the hash. Now, once the hash is generated by hash algorithm, that is SHA algorithm, After this, we are going to sign with the sender's private key so that we'll get the signature. Now, whatever the message and signature, attach these two, then send into the network to the receiver. Now, receiver is ready to take this. He will detach the message and signature. Now, whatever the message he has detached, calculate the hash and keep this aside. Whatever the hash he gets. Now, take the signature, decrypt that with the public key of the sender. So, whatever the hash gets here, so both hash should be compared. If both are okay, signatures are verified. So, this is the overview of DSA algorithm. So, if you have any doubts in this, you can contact me anytime. And now we are going to discuss about the advantages and disadvantages. See, advantages wise, we have the services which are provided by the digital signatures directly. Those are authentication. So like who is the sender sending the data? Integrity is nothing but who the sender sent data and receiver received data is correct. So there is no change happen in between the sender and receiver. If any change happens also, we can detect it immediately by the hash comparisons, I mean the digest comparisons. Non-repeatization attack can be reduced because we know who has signed that data so that we can claim that this is the sender who sent the message to us. I mean, the author is given perfectly by the signature. And coming to the speed, these algorithms, so whatever the algorithms we discussed till now, takes a little amount of time to generate the keys and immediately to sign with the private keys to generate the signatures. So these are the main advantages we have. Coming to the disadvantages, there are only three disadvantages. The first one is if the signature expires, then we need to update with the new signature. So for that cases, we need to have always a record of the signatures which we have certified. So there is nothing but the certificate issues will be generated in the procedure. So these two are almost same. Now compatibility, depending on the, I mean, few platforms. I mean, these softwares are dependent on the platform. So there we need to configure with that software. So the platform issues may be generated. Other than this, there are no other disadvantages to be noted. So till now, if you have any doubts, you can contact me in the college or you can message through comment box. Thank you.